All right, good afternoon, folks. My name is Jeremy Clausus, and I'm the editor of the Sprawl here in Calgary. And we are gathered in Ward 3 for what we're calling the last ditch debate, because there has not been a debate in this ward yet. So we're going to hear a lot about Ward 3, but first I want to situate us where we are. We're gathered here on Treaty 7 territory, which is the home of the Blackfoot Confederacy, which is comprised of the Siksika, Piikani, and Gana nations. This is also home to the Yikta Stony Nakota nations, made up of the Chiniki, Bearspaw, and Goodstoney First Nations. And it's home to the Tsuut'ina Nation, which borders the city of Calgary. And this area is also home to Métis Nation of Alberta, Districts 5 and 6. So where are we specifically is Ward 3 in an undisclosed location. But these candidates can all verify we are in fact in Ward 3. I saw the signs change over when we drove up from Ward 4 to Ward 3. It flipped. And this ward does not have an incumbent. So the current councillor, Jasmine Meehan, is not running again. And this ward also has the most councillor candidates of any ward in Calgary. So give yourselves a pat on the back. Democracy is strong in Ward 3. Now, just a note, we have 6 out of 8 candidates here. We reached out to Taran Dhillon and did not get a response. And Christy Edwards originally confirmed, but we just heard about an hour before that she cannot make it due to unforeseen circumstances. So we have 6 candidates, and looking forward to a very exciting debate. So here's how this is going to work. We're going to start with opening statements and then get into a series of questions about municipal issues. But on the table in front of you, you each have 3 coins, 3 chocolate coins, which you can use for rebuttals. So yeah, I don't recommend eating them unless you get very hungry and it comes to that. But you have 3 coins you can use for rebuttals if you want to chime in and add to or rebut something that another candidate has said. You can do that at any point. Just flag me, let me know you're doing it, and then you got to cash in a coin by putting it into the container. And I think that is pretty much the ground rules, and we are going to get into it. So I'm just going to introduce you by name so everybody knows who everybody is. We have closest to me, Rajesh Angral, Atul Chauhan, Jaspriya Johal, Danny Ng, Siraaj Shah, and Andrew Yule. And Rajesh, we're going to start with you for opening statements. You have 90 seconds.
Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, in fact. My name is Rajesh Angral, and I am running to serve not just as an independent candidate, but as your neighbor, cricketer, a hockey dad, and a proud volunteer with the Storm and Raiders teams. I am media, arts, and technology entrepreneur with a proven track record of building community through innovation and collaboration. My journey has been featured on Global TV 6 p.m. News, and I was honored to be People's Choice Award finalist during Calgary's Small Business Week by Calgary Chamber of Commerce. I founded the Canada India International Expo, which brought together hundreds of entrepreneurs and innovators from across the world. The event received written support from the leaders, including Premier Rachel Notley, Premier Jason Kenney, Premier Christy Clark, Premier Mayor Nahid Nanchi, and Canada's High Commissioner to India, Nadir Patel. So, community service has been always been at heart of my work. I help found and support the North Calgary Senior Society, ensuring our seniors stay connected and active. I have organized hundreds of free multicultural events celebrating the rich diversity of our city, where South Asian, Hispanic, African, European, and indigenous communities have all performed and participated together. I have proudly represented our community on the City of Calgary's Pride Events Park public art project and its grand reopening after redesign. I supported various city services and various events. So this is This isn't just a campaign, it's a movement for unity, dignity, and real change.
All right.
The kind of change our Ward 3 community have been waiting for since long before 2017.
Thank you, Rajesh. Next up, we have Atul Chauhan.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Atul Chauhan, and I'm running to be your next councillor for Ward 3 with the Calgary Party. Thanks to the Sprawl, Jeremy, and Berkshire Citadel Community Church, Salvation Army Church, for organizing this. Ward 3 is a vibrant, fast growing, and diverse community, but for too long, it has been underserved when it comes to investment, infrastructure, and transit. Ward 3 deserves better. That's why I'm running. We need safer streets, reliable transit, accessible recreation, and real opportunities for jobs and growth. I have double master's degree in IT, and I bring 20 years of experience to the table, specializing in education, training, aviation, consulting, non-banking finance. I'm also a small business owner, a husband, a volunteer, a board member of a nonprofit, and a philanthropist, supporting education and free food drives. I'm also an ardent pet lover. These experiences have taught me the value of common sense leadership, fiscal accountability, and community driven solutions. I will strongly advocate for the Green Line expansion, work to balance residential growth with commercial spaces, and preserve our green areas while bringing investment to boost our local economy. I'm passionate about community engagement, and I believe every voice matters. If elected, I'll be a strong voice at City Hall who listens, collaborates, and delivers real results for Ward 3 families. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Atul. We will go now to Jaspriya Johal. You have 90 seconds.
Good afternoon, Calgarians, and thank you for being engaged citizens. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Sprawl, for organizing this. And thank you for acknowledging the land in the starting. This summer, I asked myself why Calgary is slipping in the rankings of world's most livable cities. And when I look around, I saw it. The basics are neglected. Safe streets, reliable services, good transit, and community spaces. Families feel it every day. Since pandemic, City Hall has been chasing growth and expansion, forgetting what really matters, people. Developers, career politicians, and real estate interests have been louder voice than residents at City Hall. When I saw that every candidate in this race was tied to a mayoral slate, to real estate, or to career politics, I realized Ward 3 has no independent voice. That's when I decided to step up, even if I was last to enter. I'm an engineer by training, small business owner. I've worked with Alberta Health Services, and a mom raising two kids right here in Ward 3. I believe in accountability, transparency, and leadership that serves people, not politics. City politics shouldn't be about sides. It should be about service. That's why I'm running to bring an independent, community-first voice back to Ward 3.
All right. Thank you, Jaspriya. Go now to Danny Ng. You have 90 seconds.
Hello, Ward 3. I'm Danny Ng. I've lived here in Ward 3 since 1994. I raised a family and have served the community of Calgary for the last 25 years, from reviving the Calgary Dragon Boat Festival to co-founding the Chinatown Business Improvement Area and serving on community boards. Last year, I received the King Charles III Coronation Medal for long-term community service. And and what matters most after this is what we do next here in Ward 3. The Ward 3 residents have told me three things, the three same things. One is we need reliable services, reliable basic city services. We need smart, responsible growth, and also a counselor who listens and will follow through. These reliable basics means snow clear on time, safer intersections and school zones, and buses that show up and on time. My approach is simple: learn, listen, solve. And I'll meet any residents where you're living and deliver services.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Danny. Next up is Siraaj Shah, and you have 90 seconds.
Awesome. Good afternoon, residents of Ward 3. My name is Siraaj Shah, and I'm running for City Councilor here in Ward number 3. Now, first and foremost, I was born and raised as a Calgarian right here, grew up in Panorama Hills, went to the local schools in these areas, and really understood the concerns of citizens across the board. And when I chose to run, I saw something simple. Calgary has become a city where we have become addicted to reactive leadership. We see problems, but we don't solve them. And that is exactly why I chose to put my name forward. Now, I'm running on 4 key priorities. The first and foremost important thing that I've been hearing from residents over the thousands of doors that we have knocked is affordability. We have seen our property taxes increasing. We have seen our utility fees increasing without an increase in service. This needs to change. The second piece is we need a new vision for transit in Ward 3. What does that mean? That means that we need to improve our services across the board, short term with our BRT, and then come up with a new long-term vision for our LRT. Number 3, we need to improve our safety services across the board. That means improving our police services, having some more community safety initiatives. That means improving our fire services so we have that we have a fire station north of Stony Trail, as well as improving our infrastructure. Getting back to basics when it comes to our infrastructure, whether it comes to our roads, our services, our intersections. Those are some of the most important things that I've been listening to from residents. And last but not least, I promise to be a councillor who is going to be truly accountable to the residents of Ward 3. And I'm the only one who brings forward a new facing vision for us to change the game in Ward 3. Thank you.
Thank you, Siraj. And last but not least, we have Andrew Yule. You have 90 seconds.
Hey, Ward 3, I'm Andrew Yule. I'm running to be your independent Ward 3 City Councillor. I've grown up in Ward 3. My parents were one of the first houses built down in Hanson Ranch. And I'm raising my family just over in Coventry Hills. And for the past decade, I've been applying for this job, just doing advocacy in our community. I helped get our North Trail High School built. I also started the Nose Creek Preservation Society, and I served on LRT on the Green Foundation as a North director. And so I've been doing a lot of this advocacy while also being a VP of a footwear company here in Calgary and raising my 3 kids. And so what I'd like to bring to this next council is a focus on addressing our transit crisis. We don't have the green line coming. We need buses that can serve our community. I want to make sure that we have fairness in development, to make sure that we've grown out to a population size the size of Airdrie, and we've got a third of the amenities infrastructure that Airdrie has. I want to make sure that we are focusing on the core services for the north. We pay the same taxes as any other quadrant in the city. We deserve the top level services that every other quadrant is getting. And I also just lastly want to make sure that we are amplifying our community's voice. So I am ready to be your Ward 3 City Council.
All right, thank you all. So we are off to a great start here. And I'm going to start with, in terms of the questions, I'm going to start with an easy question. Because you have all been on the ground in Ward 3, talking to residents, listening to residents very intensely over the last few months, especially. So my question is this. What do you think is the biggest issue in Ward 3 right now, and why? And this one's going to be a quick one. We're just going to do 30 seconds on this one. So just a few sentences. What's the biggest issue and why? We're going to start with Jaspriya Johal, and we're going to move down the table that way for this question. So go ahead.
Thank you very much for this question because over 1,000 doors that we have knocked, there's one issue that really comes up as affordability and blanket rezoning, and another one is traffic. If it's only 30 seconds, I'm just not going to go deep into it. It's just the topics. It's affordability, blanket rezoning, and transit for Ward 3 are the biggest issues.
Perfect. Danny Ing.
One of the biggest issues is transit. I've heard from residents that when they get up in the morning and they get on, wait for the bus stop, the bus is full. Then they have to wait for another one. And hopefully that one they can get on. So that is not very good. So we need to fix that.
Thank you, Danny. We go to Siraaj Shah.
Excellent. So the biggest issue that I've been hearing across the thousands of doors that I have knocked is affordability. Fact of the matter is our property taxes have increased by 25% over the last 5 years. And folks simply cannot afford to pay that property tax increase. At the end of the day, that is the most important thing that the residents have been facing. You know, I've spoken to families across the board, across Ward 3, who are telling me, Siraj, I can't pay for anything anymore. I have to cut down on the food that I'm putting on the table or other things like that. Utility fees is another one of those key issues when it comes to affordability. And we pay the same taxes as everybody else, so we deserve the same services as well.
All right. Thank you, Siraj. We go to Andrew Yule.
The one big thing is infrastructure. We've been known as the forgotten ward up here. We have a lot of infrastructure holes that need filled. As a parent, I've taken my kids all over the city for recreation, and with the game plan coming up, with a need to create more sports and recreation facilities, we do need to get our fair share up here in Ward 3.
Perfect. Thank you, Andrew. We go to Rajesh Angral.
Yeah. So major issues in this ward is basically safe, accessible, and customer-focused transit. We are lagging behind, and then affordable growth is another point, and then engaged leadership is one of the most important because when I'm going to the doors, people are angry with the leadership, whatever we have produced in the last 2-3 years over here. And then growing economy, affordability is also another issue.
Thank you, Rajesh. We go to Atul Chauhan.
Thank you. The most important issue for Ward 3, which comes up on the doors, is transit. We are not having enough service and we are having missing bus routes in the upcoming communities. That is more happening. And what I feel, we have overcrowded buses where the routes are still applying and there is infrequent service which needs to change. Thank you.
Thank you, Atul. All right, so now let's dig into some of these issues. These questions, you'll each have 1 minute to answer. And I heard the A word come up numerous times just now, affordability. So that's a big issue for many Calgarians right now. And specifically, one thing that comes up is housing affordability. The city has a housing strategy. Its stated goal is to have all Calgarians have an affordable place to call home. There are many elements of that strategy. They want to boost housing supply. Blanket rezoning is one element of that strategy. But the question is this: what is your perspective on what Calgary City Hall is or isn't doing on the housing file? And what would you like to see changed, if anything? And on this one, we will start with Danny Ing. And you have 1 minute.
So the question is perspective on the housing file for affordability. One of the biggest things is the property taxes have increased, obviously, but the rent, there's not enough supply of rent. And because of that, prices of housing goes higher. So what we need to do is have affordability using the Calgary Housing Affordability Societies where we can get rent subsidies and things like that. Also, if I think that's all I know, and I'll pass on.
All right, Siraaj Shah.
Beautiful. So I've worked with some of the most major affordable housing providers in the city, and from what I've been hearing, there's a few major issues when it comes to housing affordability. The biggest problem is the fact that there are simply way too many bureaucratic barriers in place for us to build housing sustainably. Fact of the matter is there are very few parcels of land where an affordable housing provider can build non-market housing without having to wait a year, 2 years to wait for approvals from the city. I've spoken to clients and residents, who might have identical parcels literally right beside each other. They get two different city planners, and the approval rates are going to be completely different, right? One might get approved for a fourplex, one might get approved for one unit. At the end of the day, we need consistency when it comes to our affordable growth. We need to make sure that when it comes to affordability, we're actually planning on building affordability for the next generation, while making sure that our growth is also thoughtful, so that way we're not, we're building family friendly housing and not, just building high rises and single family homes. We need a strong balance, and we need to build that missing middle of housing here in Calgary.
All right, Andrew Yule.
When it comes to affordable housing in Ward 3, we are taking quite a bit of it. There's been some good projects up at Livingston with Habitat for Humanity. The problem I've seen is affordable housing isn't affordable if everybody needs a vehicle to get around. We have theorized transit in Ward 3. We don't have a great transit-oriented development because Green Line's not coming in our lifetime. And so we do need to make sure that we aren't using the old model of sprawl here in Calgary. And I grew up in that old model. It was slow and you waited for infrastructure to come. The way that we are building north of Stony Trail is very dense. And we need to make sure that we have the infrastructure to support that population that's going in. Like I said, we've grown out to a population size the size of Airdrie. And Airdrie has 3 times the amount of amenities and infrastructure that we have. And so it's going to take a councillor in Ward 3 that can really push on the infrastructure piece to support this massive, rapid influx of density here in Ward 3.
Thank you, Andrew. All right, we will go to Rajesh Angral. Thank you for running the microphones back and forth, folks.
Thank you very much. Jeremy, it's an excellent question. Basically, we need to understand why we need housing, why we need affordable housing. Because a lot of people like us, most of us sitting here, are moving from the different parts of the world or within the country. We are moving here to say this is our city basically, and a lot of them are settling down in Ward 3. So we need a very affordable housing here for their studying. And even we are taking so much loan, mortgages and everything to stay over here and call this Ward 3 as our home for future. So I think city need to do more in the affordable housing. Whereas, but from my perspective, what I have done recently, I have developed a software or code. It's on my website. If anyone listening, watching me, they can go to my website and look at the site, what we have, and you can see how many new homes are building in this community, how many permits are given, and how many are affordable homes are building up here. So thank you.
Thank you, Rajesh. We go to Atul Chauhan.
Thank you. When it comes to housing affordability, I would say the current approach of the council is not very good. We are having too much bureaucratic barriers at the moment, which ultimately increases the price of the house anyone wants to buy. When it comes to my vision on this, I think we need to have a governance shift. We need to aggressively increase the supply by removing that bureaucratic barriers, cut the red tape, pace up the permitting process, come up with faster approval, predictable approvals. And I would like to say here that 100,000 people are moving to Calgary every year. Calgary is mandated to have 3,000 units, affordable housing units every year. Right now, we are only having 300. So we need to have increased supply, but we also need to take care of encouraging gentle density, semi-detached homes and fourplexes in established neighborhoods while. Thank you.
Thank you, Atul. And last but not least on this one, Jaspriya Johal.
Thank you. I know Calgary is facing a housing crisis. Families struggle with affordability and demand continues to grow. I want to address this crisis responsibly, but I am against blanket rezoning that allows rapid development without matching the services and infrastructure. Growth must be planned so it doesn't overwhelm schools, roads, park, or transit, and it must respect the character of our neighborhoods. I will work with developers, the city, and residents to find smart, targeted solutions that increase housing supply support affordability, and provide essential services without creating long-term problems for our communities. Responsible growth and solving the housing crisis can go hand in hand if we can plan carefully and put residents first.
All right, thank you, Jaspriya. So now, so no rebuttals yet. Anybody want to cash in their rebuttals, or you're saving them? These are fiscal conservatives up here. They're hoarding their coins. All right, so we'll see how this goes in the next question. Another issue that came up when you were asked what is the biggest issue in Ward 3 is transit. That is a perennial issue up here every election. And specifically, the Green Line is an issue. And so I have a question about that because right now, the north leg of the Green Line, coming up here anyway, appears to be all but dead, at least for the foreseeable future. So this is, it's been said many times, this is the biggest mega project in Calgary's history. As a Ward 3 councillor, what do you think has to happen next on this project? And if you were a councillor, how would you work to achieve that goal? And on this one, we are starting with Andrew Yule. And 1 minute each on this one.
Yeah, so I've long been an advocate for the Green Line. I was on LRT and the Green Foundation for 5 years, trying to get the Green Line up to North Central Calgary. Didn't work. Started way down in Shepherd, so it's not coming in my lifetime. And so we have to do some real soul seeking here in Calgary and get some actual transit solutions through. And so I'm going to be working on the Max Green BRT, bus rapid transit up Center Street, making sure that we have dedicated lanes, making sure that we have priority buses get priority. I'm also going to be working on the 144th Avenue bus rapid transit. That'll connect the red line in the northwest to the blue line in the northeast, all across north central Calgary, which is the first crosstown bus system in north central Calgary. And so that is what is actually going to have some solutions. Other candidates in past elections have ran on the Green Line, and I can't promise that because it's not going to happen in my lifetime.
All right, thank you, Andrew. We'll go next to Rajesh. And the question, what do you think has to happen next on the Green Line? You have 1 minute.
Yeah, that's very, very good and very important topic because we all in the north are always looking for Green Line. We want to it come up to all the way to the north so that people can go. Because my wife every day used to commute to downtown, and I know how valuable it was if we can get a Green Line. But actually, what's happening because of the failure in leadership, they were not able to put our point forward in a good way and fetch the funding what we have lost already in that. So I think if you have a good leadership in Ward 3 or in the Calgary North area, we can push it to the provincial government and we can push it to federal government and bring the funding over here and make sure this Green Line is coming to the action again. It's not that, and I promise I will work hard and I will fight for Green Line so that we can have a Green Line in the same way what we were expecting it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rajesh. Go to Atul Chauhan.
Thank you. I have a bit different perspective on this. Everyone says it's a distant dream. I said no. Sometimes someone has to say yes, and we need to say yes very strongly. I think we need to negotiate and fight for the other levels of government which are providing funding for this. All the stakeholders need to come on board, and we need to have better negotiations, a strong voice where we can build consensus among different levels of governance and push this project forward with more speed, I would say. Meanwhile, it's not happening. I would definitely advocate for expansion of our max BRT routes as well as the other transit options we can add to the Ward 3. Thank you.
Thanks, Atul. We go to Jaspriya Johal.
Thank you for this question. Green line is a very hard promise to make, but at least what we can do is we can advocate really, really hard to get the expansion. As a counselor, making transit my priority is making transit better for Ward 3. We can encourage better connectivity to Green Line if we cannot bring Green Line here. We need to make transit safe, reliable for everyone. Finally, I will listen to residents. Your experience and feedback guide the improvement that's where's most needed. Thank you.
Thank you, Jaspriya. We go to Danny Eng.
Well, the green line will never happen. Not in our lifetime, or my lifetime anyways. So one of the solutions that we can work on is there is a Alberta passenger rail, light rail system that has been proposed. And that's from Edmonton all the way to downtown Calgary. One of the things that we can do, if that goes in, which would probably go in before the green line. So if it goes in before the green line, we would work with the Calgary Transit to set up bus stops that take us to those stops that on the light rail train. And then that way we can take one stop, like go to if it's an Airdrie, that stop, and at the airport we work with the city transit to take routes to people to those routes to those like for example the airport, and then head right down one stop into downtown. So that way we can solve some of those issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Danny. Go to Siraaj Shah.
Awesome. So the problem that we're seeing across the board is the fact that we've been advocating for something for the last 20 years and have not seen a result. And the fact of the matter is I don't disagree that the Green Line is a complete and utter failure, right? And that's why we need some new solutions. We need a new vision to come forth when it comes to transit in North Calgary. Now, I actually have an article in the Herald that outlines this in a lot of detail. But a few things first and foremost. The first important thing is BRT right now. That means getting BRT up to 144th Avenue, improving our corridors east to west as well as north to south when it comes to our BRT services. So at the very least today we have solutions that actually serve the needs of Ward 3. But at the same time, I also don't believe in giving up on LRT. And that's why I think we need to come up with a new solution that is specific to helping us attain provincial and federal funding and actually allow us to twist the arms of provincial and federal governments. And that's why I come up with a solution, a new LRT proposal that I've come up with, which would go from the airport to 96 Ave and from 96 Ave to downtown. The reason for this specifically is, again, to attain provincial and federal funding and hit the airport to downtown LRT corridor that the provincial and the federal government has expressed quite a bit of interest in. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Siraj. The next question kind of ties into transit in a way, and it's about the city's climate strategy and its climate goals. City Council or City Hall has lots of strategies, strategies for all kinds of things, and they set goals and they're ambitious goals, and often they don't hit these goals. But the city has set a target in its climate strategy for net zero emissions by 2050. So the question is, what is your perspective on what the city hall's doing on climate? And what, if anything, would you change about how City Hall is pursuing its climate goals? And for this one, we are going to start with Atul Chauhan. We can get the mic passed down. And again, 1 minute per candidate.
Thank you. When it comes to climate, especially net zero emissions by 2050, I would say we need to think very strategically. And right now, the approach, what is going on, definitely whatever they can do, they are doing, but we need to do better. And when it comes to do better, I would say we need to increase equitable tree cover all across the Calgary, not just Ward 3. We need to have more tree cover, more tree canopy, as well as we also need to have sustainable actions. For example, when I was talking about Green Line, the impact it can create. Public transit, Green Line, it can bring 26,750 tons of greenhouse emission reduction. And I feel like it can be the biggest climate change action we can actually take. Thank you.
Thank you, Atul. Jaspriya Johal.
Thank you. 60 seconds is a very short time to answer this because it's a big issue going on. First of all, climate emergency is real. It's like actually real. When we are developing communities like Livingston and there is new community coming in Aurora land, without any transit, we are developing and we are encouraging people to buy more cars, and we cannot really achieve this zero emission goal at all, first of all. My role is to make Calgary act locally with smart, practical solutions, like improving public transit, expanding green spaces, supporting energy efficient buildings, and investing in sustainable infrastructure. I'll also push for accountability at City Hall so that every decision from land development to transportation considers the climate impact. Right now, public education is free, but getting to schools, one student passes $84, which is impacting families. Thank you. I know I told you it's very less of a time.
It is, yeah, big issue and short time for sure. Thank you, Jaspriya. We go down to Danny Ng.
So climate and resilience. We have to be practical. I mean, yes, it exists. There's a problem with climate, but we have to reduce emissions where it saves money and makes sense. We need to improve services. We need to make efficient buildings. We need to have a smart traffic flow that way cars aren't always putting out exhausts. We need a reliable fleet that's chosen like for busing, EV. We need better drainage. We need a tree canopy for newer communities. All of this we need to do, but very practical and not spend too much money.
Thank you, Danny. Go to Siraaj Shah.
Excellent. So the climate question is a very, very real concern for us as Calgarians, and something that I've been growing up and seeing my generation being increasingly concerned about climate. But at the same time, I think it's really important for City Hall to take a practical, people first approach and not virtual signal when it comes to the climate issue. And really, what that means is coming up with practical solutions. So first and foremost, that means improving our infrastructure. At the end of the day, if we've got our water infrastructure, for example, or we've got pipes that are breaking, that's an environmental hazard. If we've got our roads that are not sustainable for Calgary traffic, that's an environmental hazard at the end of the day, right? So we have to first and foremost fix those problems that we're facing today before moving on to kind of some of these loftier goals. And then from there we can move into to actually coming up with practical solutions that'll help Calgarians. For example, retrofit rebate programs where we can work with the provincial and federal government and actually retrofit older homes in Ward 3 where we can get solar panels and windows and things like that that'll actually improve our actual efficiency when it comes to that. And last but not least, I think definitely when it comes to our building standards, energy efficient homes, as well as making sure that our development is done in a smart way, improving transit access rather than us developing first and infrastructure later.
Thank you, Siraj. Go to Andrew Yule.
Yeah, climate's a big bucket, and it's getting bigger at the city of Calgary. It's been a frustration of mine, just as the president of the Nose Creek Preservation Society, because everything's getting lumped under this climate emergency. There's even like the biodiversity advisory committee was disbanded, and their mandate was thrown under the climate advisory committee. Neither committee wanted that. And there should be some refining arguments between those two groups. And so it's been a tough it's been a tough topic at council. There needs to be a little bit more transparency on what that climate emergency declaration, what funding was brought to the city of Calgary, because it becomes a hot topic issue when it should be really a refining issue that makes things better for extreme weather events and our tree canopy and energy efficient buildings and buses. So yeah, it's a tough topic, but I'd like to deal with it as your councilor.
Thank you, Andrew. All right, and last but not least on this one, we have Rajesh Angral.
Thank you, Jeremy. So climate is a real issue, and personally, I have felt it 3 times on my home. Basically, because when you see the hails and everything, that's the real climate issue. We can see in Calgary North, we have seen thrice. I have faced that challenge is how we hard-earned money give it to the insurance companies and then they return us very less. They are making billions of dollars. we are losing our money. So first of all, we need to understand climate is real and we have to work for that. Second thing is we can reduce it by putting the tree canopies, we can reduce by using less cars, and how we can use less car and less gas by putting the proper transit system in, especially in this area. We need a strong advocate for all these things, and which I think I have a capability of doing that. So I will be making sure I will do all these things and making sure insurance companies are accountable for all the actions they are doing. So climate is real. Please follow that, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Rajesh. We're going to go now into some questions about city council and how city council works or doesn't. I've been covering elections for a long time in Calgary now, and every time an election comes up, we hear the refrain that city council is dysfunctional. There's discontent with how city council has been working. So the question I have for you, keeping in mind that a councillor has one vote out of 50, so you don't have a choice. You have to work with all these other people regardless of your ideology and their ideology. The question is this: how do you approach working across difference? And can you point to something in your own experience that demonstrates this? And this one, we are going to start with Siraj. You have 1 minute. Yep, mic will make its way down there, and here we go.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So this is a very, very, very important question. The fact of the matter is most folks don't even know what city council actually works in terms of what its actual function is. So first and foremost, in terms of direct experience, I was appointed by the minister to sit on the board of governors at the University of Calgary, which I would argue is probably the most comparable example you could give to kind of the role of a city council versus an actual governance body. And in that experience, I worked with over 25 board members who are all publicly appointed and came up with solutions on a wide variety of issues that were affecting constituents across the board at the university, and came up with practical solutions. So I know how to work with all levels of government as well as with other members of council, when it comes to this, and especially when it comes to the structure of council. I mean, at the end of the day, the role of council is to be an oversight body to administration, right? And here is, at the end of the day, you have to work for the benefit, you have to work for the interest of Ward 3 first. And when it comes to the interest of Ward 3, working with other councillors to make sure that you can play politics and actually, utilize the experiences that I've had to work together with other folks and actually come up with solutions that we can for Ward 3. So it needs a little bit more of a active approach that isn't ideologically aligned, but rather focused on the interests of Ward 3 across the board.
Thank you, Siraj. And at this point, I'm just going to interject. Nobody has used their rebuttals. I don't know if Ward 3 is just a very amicable and friendly place. Everybody gets along up here. That could just be the situation.
We're all friends. That's what it is.
Yeah, and that's great. Or maybe you just all like chocolate and you're keeping those chocolate coins to have at the end. That could be the case too. But just a reminder, you do have those if you want to use them. Anyways, we'll go now to Andrew Yule on the question of how you approach working across lines of difference.
Yeah, I think my experience from getting the North Trail High School built, it started back in 2017 when the Rachel Notley NDP government was ruling Alberta, and we got the design funding from that level of government. But then in 2019, it switched over to the Kenny UCP government, and we had to get the construction funding from the UCP government. I think that's what a councillor needs to be able to do, is cross party lines, because pothole, it's not left or right, it just got to get filled. So we do need to do the work at council and work together. That's what I plan to do. I plan to invite some of the councillors. It's going to be a brand new council with a lot of new faces, and so a lot of people won't know about Ward 3. And so I'm going to have to bring up some of these councillors, give them a tour of the infrastructure holes that we have up here, so that everybody on council knows the needs of the north.
Thank you, Andrew. And we go down to Rajesh Angral.
I think I prefer to be stand up and speak. So, because all the time I speak on radio, so I love to speak on the stage as well. So, because I'm sorry. Yeah, so I think we, as a good advocate, I have shown already my proven abilities doing all these things, and my abilities of advocacy already proven by a global TV by putting my success story on me, where I proved that I am capable of organizing the international expo like a Canada India International Expo, where I invited international exhibitors over here. Along with that, I got the support from the Calgary Chamber of Commerce and Better Business of Bureau to train my Punjabi businesses and community as a Punjabi Council of Commerce president. So I did various capacity, various things, even in my political career for the Alberta NDP or the federal. I did a lot of stuff like that, and I think I am quite capable of doing all these things by organizing the advocacy skills.
Thank you, Rajesh. We go now to Atul Chauhan.
Thank you. When it comes to working across differences of opinion, I would say the most important thing one needs is negotiation skills. That's what I have. That's what I come with. So I feel when it comes to city council functioning, it's very important to build and gain trust, gain confidence, forming consensus on important issues while doing good work for betterment of residents. So I am good at this. As I said in my introduction, I work for a non-profit where I'm a board member and we have other board members too. Sometimes there are differences of opinion, but I feel that once we have consensus, we can do good for all the residents. Thank you.
Thank you, Atul. Go to Jaspriya Johal.
I'm a mother of two teenagers. Seriously, getting things done in their like in not in their favor, but for their good is the skill that I learned. But I know not everyone will agree on every issue, and that's okay. My approach is to listen first, understand concerns, and find common grounds based on the fact and the best interest of our community. To make provincial government listen, I will build strong relationships, present well researched proposals, and advocate persistently for what three priorities. Working with fellow councillors is a key. I will collaborate, share ideas, form coalitions when needed to get results. Leadership isn't about winning every debate. It's about working respectfully, staying focused on solutions, and delivering outcomes that benefit residents, even when opinions differ.
Thank you, Jaspriya. We go to Danny Ng.
Working with people with differences, like when you don't agree with something, I mean, it doesn't mean end of everything. You have to find the common ground. What's the goal? Is the goal common? Yeah, we want to solve something, right? We want to solve it together, but we have to identify the differences, work around those differences, and then see how we can compromise to establish or meet that goal. One of the things that I've done in Chinatown is there's a lot of differences in there. And we always hash it out. We always talk about it. We find ways to get around it. And in that community, it's a tough community, but we get things done by working together. Thank you.
Thank you, Danny. Somebody is doing a rebuttal. It's happening. Siraaj Shah.
So I think it'll be actually for three. I'll do a rebuttal kind of for three candidates here. For Rajesh, for Atul, and Andrew. So my question to you guys is: Rajesh, for example, previously associated with the NDP. Atul currently associated with the Calgary Party, and Andrew currently endorsed by a few progressive third-party advertisers. One of the things that I've seen in council is the fact that no matter how good your intention is, if you brand yourself or if you're associated with certain groups, if you will, you get isolated. So my question, I think, to all three of you guys is how will you make sure that you don't get isolated, so you're not branded as the NDP guy or the Calgary Party guy or the progressive, like that kind of things.
Okay, 30 seconds up. Andrew, you got catch in the coin.
All right, I think it's been an interesting campaign. I've been door knocking for 6 months, and I've door knocked with people of all stripes. I've door knocked with people who are supporting Jeremy Farkas for mayor. I've been door knocking with people who are supporting Jyoti Gandak for mayor. I've had signed combinations with every single mayoral candidate, and so I think it just goes to show that, like, it is important to make sure that you are having good relationships with everybody at council and working with everybody. It's important to get anything done here at council to just be amenable to talking with people.
All right, Rajesh, do you want to respond to that one?
I have to check mic is working. Thank you. So definitely very good question, Siraj. So my answer is basically I was NDP, like I ran twice for NDP, and 7,800 people voted for me in the same riding when it was a Calgary North, which was almost 49.6% vote. So I have a strong support for the NDP. But right now I can get a good support from the NDP, but I declared myself as a independent candidate. Why? Because I want to work for the Ward 3 people, not for any particular party, either it's NDP or UCP or anyone. That's why I declared myself as independent, not as a party backing. So
All right.
I hope my answer is clear. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajesh. Don't forget to cash in the coin. You got to cash in the coin. And Atul, you are the only one of the candidates that is part of a municipal party, the Calgary Party. So yeah, cash in.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for asking this, Siraj. So when the province imposed the party system and it was introduced, Calgary Party was formed as a response to that. And this is just for Calgarians. And for your knowledge, I would like to bring up this thing that the party gets disbanded on 21st. No party whips, independent decisions, only for Ward 3. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Atul. And just to correct my earlier statement, I said, Atul, you're the only candidate that's part of a party. You're the only candidate here that's part of a party. Another candidate in Ward 3, Christy Edwards, is running for a Better Calgary Party. So just to clarify that. Does anybody else want to jump in on this one?
How much time we have?
The question is how much time we have. I have one more question and then closing statements. So if you do you want to catch one in? Yes. All right, here we go. Rajesh Angral has a rebuttal.
Yes, so my question is very clear from the audience, basically, whatever I hear from the doors. Problem in Ward 3 is not about the people or the infrastructure or anything. It's all about the leadership. So because from the last few years, from the last 2, 3 tenures, what's happening? If counselor is going, so his assistant is coming and taking over as a counselor. Then again and again happening. This time what's happening? The counselor is, she already quit. She's not running. But I think from our office, we are getting support for Andrew. And I want to make sure it's not the same leadership who is failing us in every platform, coming back again and making us fail again. They have a full planning to win, which means we are going to lose.
Yep.
So I don't want to lose. So please, if Andrew can explain about that.
Thank you, Rajesh. We go to Andrew Yule. Now we're big spenders.
Now we're big spenders.
Go.
From my understanding, I don't believe that our current councillor Jasmine Mead has endorsed anybody publicly. So that's just false information. And my track record speaks for itself. I have gone head to head with Jasmine Mead for the last 4 years about the Aurora development, about Nose Creek setbacks, and it took a long time to get support from her in a notice of motion in 2024 to get a Nose Creek Park strategy started. I wish we got it started sooner, and it took a while to develop that relationship with Jasmine, but I'm glad we did because that comes to council in 2026.
All right. Yeah, your last coin. Here we go. Rajesh has one more. His last rebuttal.
So my question is again to Andrew. If Jasmine is not publicly, I know she is not supporting, but her office staff is supporting you. From the last 6 months, you are getting feedback, everything. It reflects from your website, from your everything, like you are getting a full support from the end. Her supporters told me already, like you are getting support from her assistant. Is it true?
Yeah, so Brianna Stalkup does work in Jasmine's office, and she has been a fantastic campaign manager. And you know that like I can hit the ground running as a Ward 3 councillor, having somebody who's been on the inside and ready to go. I think that's just good leadership, making sure that there is no, breakup between councillors, because we need action now, and I am going to be a new councillor, and so we do need experience in the office to get things going.
All right. Did you spend your dollar on that, Andrew?
I got the dollars.
All right. So I think the candidates on the end are out of coins. Anyone else on the inside of the table want to spend on this one, or are we good? Okay. I think we're good. All right. So just looking at the clock here, a quick question is about admin and council and the relationship between them. Because, council sets the policy and admin carries it through, but there is a question of who is driving the bus at City Hall. Is it city council? Is it city administration? Is there a balance? Is that balance out of whack? So a quick question, I'm going to give you 45 seconds on this so we can kind of stay in time. Is how you see that relationship and what, if anything, needs to change on the relationship between city council and administration. And for this one, we will start with Jaspriya.
That's actually a very good question. To me, it used to be city council used to drive things, but now I think it's city administration controlling council. And when I go there, if I go there, I would like to change this by getting the support by fellow councillors, because I think the decision making, the access should come back to the councillors. It should not be with administration. Thank you.
Thank you, Jaspriya. Danny.
Yeah, I see a disconnect. City administration has lost its focus on serving the people of Calgary, the taxpayers. One of the things that, and you can see it, the time delay, the red tape, some of the things that are just taking too long to fix. But just because it's and I don't think it's their fault. I think it's the fault coming from top down. So it has to be top down, or the top that has to be fixed, or fixed so that in a way that it directs administration to help make sure that they're focused on serving the community, serving the taxpayers.
Thank you, Danny. Siraaj Shah.
Excellent. So in my work at the Board of Governors, I believe I'm the only one here who's got experience working directly between the relationship between an administrative body and an oversight council. Now, pretty much the role of council is to be the oversight body to administration. And really what that means is you have to have a proactive relationship between the two. You can't make administration your enemies, but you can't make administration, kind of control votes, if you will, right? And that's kind of where my experience comes in is that, I've already dealt with these kind of experiences where I've already had an administration of different bodies tried to lobby me in various different votes and scenarios. And, I've been able to do the other things around where I've been able to help administration, at the university, for example, accountable for a wide variety of things. So really, I think it's just a proactive relationship, making sure that, we work at the end of the day for the benefit of Ward 3 and make sure that council actually fulfills its duty as an oversight body to the City of Calgary administration.
All right. Thank you, Siraj. Andrew Yule.
The purpose of city council is to provide direction. City council has one employee, it's the city manager. And so we need to give clear direction to the city manager. And that's going to be important about building that relationship at council so that we aren't just going into these 4-year cycles. We're looking beyond 4 years. We're looking to 10, 15. That's how we get big projects done that we've been missing up here in Ward 3. Is we need clear direction. So working together as a council to make sure that we have clear direction to administration. So it's not just a ping pong, because it's hard for an administration to take the council seriously when they just gotta wait 4 years till you're gone.
All right, thank you, Andrew. And we will go now to Rajesh Angral.
So I think definitely it's a city administration is we are lagging behind in many things, and transparency is one of them. So we want to bring, and I have already put that point on my website by putting a software there, code there, where you can go and see like how many building permits are applied by which builder is good, which builder is not good, having a how much percentage of uh, bad history in them. So these kind of things, and then we have a crime, accidents. All these things are mentioned in my program there. So you can go there and watch there on my website jaspriya.ca, and I want to make sure like we have a more transparent system where we can, and along with that, inclusion is another word which I want to include into my statement. Like we need to bring more colored people into our boards and city councils so that they can, or different departments, so that we can have a voice from the Ward 3, which is a diverse, and more than 60% people are from immigrant background.
Thank you, Rajesh. We go now to Atul Chauhan, the last one.
Thank you. I do feel and I agree that right now we have a big disconnect between the council and the admin. I feel the council should have a more stronger hand because the council is the voice, is the elected voice of the people. They should have more opinion, they should have more influence and be the guiding pillar for the admin. I feel that we have to make sure that we have better communication with the admin and make sure the voices are being reflected in the decision making process as well as the action taking process. Thank you.
Thank you, Atul. All right, so that is the end of the questions. We're going to go on to closing statements, but last call for rebuttals or anything. If you're good, that's good. We can keep going. But last call for that. Closing statements. We're going to do. Oh, here we go. Atul's got one. 30 seconds.
As I introduced, I'm running from the Calgary Party, definitely. But I would like the residents to know more. There are many candidates in this campaign who have formed unofficial alliances with many of the groups, maybe mayoral campaigns or other kind of campaigns going on, and they have donors coming up in from various kinds of backgrounds. So be sure to check this out and vote accordingly. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Atul. Last call. Any other rebuttals? Okay, we shall proceed with closing statements. This time we are going to go in the opposite order of our opening statement. So we're going to start at the far end of the table with Andrew Yule and work this way. You each have 90 seconds. Andrew, yours starts now.
I just want to thank Jeremy Klosses and Sprawl for putting this on. It's a last-ditch effort, and it was actually 2017 that I first met Jeremy at a forum like this in Ward 3, and he was late because he couldn't find where he was going, and he put out a tweet and said, "Where even is Ward 3?" And we've never let him down, let him live that down for the last several years here. But it is a question that's rattled around in my head for a long time. Where is Ward 3 in the decisions being made at council? Where is Ward 3 when it comes to infrastructure? Where is Ward 3 when it comes to transit? And so I really want to be the councillor for you to bring clarity on where Ward 3 is at council. And so I want to bring, my addressing the transit crisis. I want to bring fairness in development. I want to focus on the core services for the North and amplify our community's voice, because that is the most important voice when it comes down to it, is raising our community's voice, not some backroom party voice. It's our community's voice that is most important. So on October 20th, I hope I can earn your trust and your vote, and because I'm ready to be your Ward 3 councillor.
Thank you, Andrew. We go now to Siraaj Shah. You have 90 seconds.
Awesome. Ward 3 residents, this message is to every single one of you, and all of you have a choice. You've seen probably all six of us, all 8 candidates knocking at your door, and you guys are asking yourself a simple question. Who is the person that I can trust most to carry Ward 3 forward? And I'll answer in terms of why I believe that I am the most trusted person. First and foremost, and the most important thing is vision. I believe I'm the only candidate here who doesn't just have a vision for the next 4 years, but who has the vision for the next 10, 15, 20 years when it comes to the major infrastructure issues that we're facing, whether it comes to our affordability, whether it comes to our transit prices, whether it comes to our safety, or whether it comes to simple accountability. We need a new voice, we need a new vision, and we need somebody who not only has that vision, but also has the experience to implement that vision. I've got experience working with all three levels of government. Throughout my days, for the last 6, 7, 8 years, I've got that experience. Working, by founding multiple organizations and fundraising hundreds of thousands of dollars for across the world. I've got that experience as well as that vision, to carry Ward 3 forward. And as somebody who was born and raised here, I've seen the concerns of residents across the board, and I believe that I'm the only one, who's not only has the experience but also who has the vision, to bring Ward 3 forward and really take us into the next decade, not just bring us into 2029, but into that next decade. Thank you.
Thank you, Siraj. Now to Danny Ng. You have 90 seconds.
Well, thank you for setting this up, Sprawl, Jeremy, and the church, Bob. Thank you so much. I'm here running for council to represent you. I'm here to represent this ward, and that's all that needs to be done. Your voice, your community is my community. I'm here to listen, learn, and solve together with you. That's the big bottom line. I want to be here to show up, bring services back to the basic services back to Ward 3, make it safe for the intersections for the kids. Those are the most important things, is getting it back down to the basics and bringing it back to you, the community. It's so important. So thank you.
Thank you, Danny. Go to Jaspriya Johal. You have 90 seconds.
Thank you for this opportunity. I'm the only independent woman in the race. I may not have had every answer tonight, but as an engineer by training and a long-term resident of Ward 3, I know how to find them. Ward 3 has struggled with traffic, overdevelopment, aging infrastructure, overcrowded schools. Residents deserve real solutions, not just promises. Responsible growth is fix before expand. Traffic and transit planning, community hubs, essential services for senior youth and families. Ward 3 deserves leadership that listens, collaborates, delivers, and show up. Let's fix our communities, restore trust, build a Ward 3 that works for everyone. I'm Jaspriya Johal, ready to serve. I am in here for infinite game that doesn't end on October 20th. It actually begins on that day. I am here because we are. Thank you.
Thank you, Jaspriya. We go to Atul Chauhan. You have 90 seconds.
Sure. Thank you, everyone. It's been an incredible conversation today, and I want to leave you with this. Ward 3 deserves practical, balanced, and community-driven leadership. My role in this campaign isn't about left or right. It's about common sense, collaboration, and getting things done. I'm a centrist voice who believes we can build a better future by focusing on solutions, not divisions. As you think about your vote, I want you to remember three things about me. First, I'm a problem solver with 20 years of professional experience across multiple sectors, ready to bring that real world experience and perspective to City Hall. Second, I'm a strong advocate for our community, committed to safer streets, better transit, expansion of rec spaces, and local job creation. And third, I'm a voice of accountability and inclusion, focused on building trust and ensuring every resident feels heard and represented. Ward 3 is ready for change, thoughtful, forward looking, and fair. On October 20th, I'm asking for your support to be that change. I'm Atul Chauhan, and I'll be your strong, sensible, and community focused voice at City Hall. Thank you.
Thank you, Atul. We go to Rajesh Angral. You have 90 seconds.
So once again, my name is Rajesh Angral, and I am running to be your next city council for Ward 3. So my priorities are safe, accessible, and customer-focused transit with 2024 route ahead annual status report, where I would like to have more transit in this area. Affordable growth with a game plan, where we can talk about the support for the game plan, various recreational facilities, and engage leadership, where we can have a leadership which is independent and purely independent, not associated with any group or any party, which I already declared. I got a good support from the NDP party in the previous election, like 49.6% vote is a whole lot of vote which is supported, but I want to run as a your candidate, your independent candidate and your voice, not as a supported by any party, any group, so that and recently we have seen like some groups or some people from the office or the fair leadership are trying to secure their seats or job in the same office, which is bringing the same result. So make sure we have to not them to win, so that winning them means we are losing. So I don't want you guys to lose. So for if you want to win, please choose an independent voice which can create 5,700 new jobs by creating NATO sleepy area structure plan, regional park, door park, environmental balance, and enhancing quality. So these things will bring us the affordable homes also. So all these things are my platform. Please go to my website, rajeshangral.ca. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Rajesh, and thank you to all of you candidates. This has been an excellent discussion. Keep yourselves around. Just so people know, the invitations for this went out on Friday morning. So Friday morning before the long weekend, this mad scramble. We don't know if anybody's going to respond to this. And the response came in very quickly and very strongly from Ward 3 that you folks were into this. We heard as well from people living in Ward 3 that they're into this, that they've wanted a debate. So thank you for making the time. I know it's the home stretch for you folks. You're doing lots of door knocking. We're less than a week away, so thank you. We really appreciate it. I want to thank as well, Asa Chishti is running our live stream, and how many people about? We're running this live stream, so we can actually yeah, and we're actually, so we're wrapping up here in Ward 3. We're packing up, we're throwing all the gear into our cars, and we are booking it down to Ward 12 for a debate. And that one starts at 4 p.m. So if you're watching online, Ward 12 debate is happening at 4 p.m. So stay tuned. Thanks again, everybody, and have a wonderful day.